Okay, so the other day I posted about a project that I was super excited about, and we just completed it and tested it and it worked. So let me explain to you what we did. Okay, we're firing the water up. It is charging the system. And there they go, they are filling. Okay, so we got our GreenStalk set up the other day, but I have been hesitant to plant them because I'm horrible at watering things. If it's not on a timer, I forget to do it, whether it's my ADD or a migraine or whatever. I forget to water stuff. And so we pondered on it and thought, and we finally came up with a plan. And so what we did was we ran an irrigation pipe off of our hose bib. I'll show you in a minute, we'll go down there. Ran it around our deck and up to this. Now, GreenStalk just came out with their own drip irrigation system, but the problem with that was you couldn't rotate your stuff. And I need to be able to rotate this up here on the deck. And so we had to come up with our own plan that would work for us, that we would be able to rotate it. And then we thought, there's other people that need to be able to rotate theirs too, whether it's on a deck, a patio, next to a pergola, or any of that kind of thing. And so this idea can be taken and used in any of those situations, whether you use a T-post to run your pipe up, you run it up the leg of the pergola, or up the deck like we did, and it worked really well. We just tested it, like I said, and it worked as good as we imagined it would. So what we did, we'll show you some of it from the backside in just a minute, but the pipe runs up the backside of this board that is screwed into the supports of the deck. It runs up here. We have a shut-off valve here so that if we have a problem or we need to neck down the pressure, we can do that here. And then it elbows down. We went ahead and drilled a hole in the wood. You don't have to do that, but that's how we chose to do it. And then we have this spout that comes down to the reservoir and fills it. And we have two of these that we did exactly the same. And like I said, it works awesome. Oh, so one of the challenges that we had with figuring out how to do this was we needed to make sure that we had it high enough that once these plants start growing up, we can still rotate this. And so we used an 8-foot 2x4 that we had that was scrap. I cut off 18 inches, and then I just used another scrap piece to do this cross support here. But with this height, we're hopeful that everything will still be able to grow, and we'll still be able to rotate the GreenStalk. This is a prototype. We'll give it a run this year and see how it works for us. Now let's take you down below so you can see the mechanics of this. Now we're down at our faucet, our hose bib out back, where we have the GreenStalk line hooked into. And so what we did was we started out with a splitter, and then off of one side of the splitter, we have a 1-zone timer. This particular timer can have up to 4 start times, and it can run from 1 minute to, I think it said 12 hours and 59 minutes or some ridiculous amount like that. For me, what mattered was on GreenStalk's drip irrigation that they just did, they recommended running it 1 to 2 minutes, 1 to 2 times a day. So I needed that 1 minute time, the minimum of the 1 minute time on the multiple starts. Then below the timer, we've got a cat friend. Then below the timer, now we got a dog friend. Watch out. Then below the timer, we have a backflow preventer, and then we connect into our irrigation line. And then that irrigation line runs up the wall and goes along the framing of our deck. We do still have to add some more fasteners to it, but that's all we had right now. You ready? Now over here on this side, you can see the back side of these uprights. And like I said, we've got to do some more clamps or hangers on them because we were working with what we had. They're already on order, but they're not here. The water that you see dripping right now is from our test run. That's coming off of the drain tubes on the GreenStalks and is running down into what is going to be a flower bed. So that won't be a problem at all. But anyway, so it runs along the edge of the deck, up these uprights, into their own shut-off valve, and then into the top of the GreenStalk. Okay, we're firing the water up. It is charging the system. And there they go, they are filling. And then this will run a minute or two. Right now, this time of year, we'll only run it once a day. But in the heat of the summer, we'll run it twice a day. It just depends on how the soil feels as we figure out what the watering system is. But this way, I don't have to think about, oh, did I go out and water that? It just does what it's supposed to do. Like I said before, GreenStalk just came out with their own drip irrigation. And this is not a knock on theirs at all. Their system looks awesome. I took the information from their system as far as like how long to water, how often to water, and that kind of thing. Their system just wouldn't work for my needs with having this be able to rotate. So, like I said, this is just our first version of this. I'm sure GreenStalk will come out with something on their own, but we needed something for this year that would work for us. And like I said before, you can do a standalone stand. You could run it up the leg of a deck. You could run it up the leg of a pergola or pavilion. You could do a T-post. You could do rigid PVC. You could do recycled patio umbrella stand and build off of that. I mean, there are so many options that you could use to make it work for you. But the most important thing for us was that our crops could still rotate, because otherwise the stuff that is always on the north side is not going to prosper for me. This deck, that's north. And so we don't get a lot of sun on this deck. This is the sunniest spot, but we needed to be able to rotate those crops. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and you can figure out something that works for you too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.